Hey, your favorite slightly hood therapist here, part two, discussing the straight to jail challenge. So, number two in the straight to jail challenge was about little black children being diagnosed as oppositional defiant or having oppositional defiant disorder when in fact they may actually have ADHD, PTSD, or be struggling with anxiety. So, if you have not read the book, The Body Keeps the Score, whether you are a clinician, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or just a regular Joe Schmo, I recommend that you read that book, particularly the chapter about children who are trying to cope with trauma. The author of this book describes the manifestation of trauma in children way more eloquently than I ever could. But this is what I'm talking about here. So he talks about just children in general dealing with trauma. The particular children that he's talking about are usually children who are victims of incest or victims of abuse, whether or not that abuse is directly perpetrated against them, or these are children who are brought up in environments where they are observing abuse, domestic violence situations. This is what I am proposing. We have children of color, little black children, who grow up in some of the worst environmental situations possible. These children are growing up in homes where there are absent parents, where they're feeling neglected. They're growing up in homes where we have normalized physical abuse as discipline and punishment. They are growing up in areas where they are in food deserts. They are growing up in areas where there is violence all the time. That type of environment is difficult for an adult whose brain is fully formed, who's supposed to be emotionally intelligent. Adults can't deal and cope in those situations, but you're asking children to be able to do so. When children can't cope with trauma, what it often manifests into is what looks like behavioral problems. Why? Because they don't have the words, they don't have the emotional intelligence, they don't have the emotional regulation to be able to say to you, I'm afraid, I'm worried, I don't know what to do, I need help. And if they do have the words, sometimes they know better not to express those words. Let's be mindful that sometimes children are not bad children. They are children who are struggling.